What's up, good people? Day 28 of the 31 Days of Value. And man, it is getting to the wire here. I was talking to my wife. I'm like, what am I going to do after day 31? I've developed such a habit of creating value every single day on this podcast. And I'm in the process of finishing up the final draft of the book, The 31 Days of Value. So remember, if you want a free copy, all you have to do is email me or reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, and I will get you a free copy of the 31 Days of Value book, which I think is going to be amazing. I've spent the last, 15 days like nonstop working on this. And here's the thing, man. So the 31 Days of Value has a lot of value wrapped into it, but I did this for me first, and it was to create more habit and consistency in my life. And as a business owner, we've got to sharpen our axe. Every now and again, man, we can't get comfortable. I recognize I was getting a little lazy in some areas, so I'm like, you know what? One of the things I love doing most is serving business owners. So you know what? I'm going to sit here and I'm going to create value for business owners. And what I love about this is around day 14, maybe day 11, I'm not sure, but I came up with the idea to write the 31 Days of Value book. And because of my initial motivation to inspire and create value, but also discipline myself to put out more content, the book was born. And the book was an afterthought of the initial thing that I set out to do. And that's happened a lot in my life. So, face the challenge, whatever that is. Maybe your challenge is listening to this every day and maybe taking one idea and implementing it into your business, or one element of what I talk about, or whatever it is. I don't know. Maybe you're habit stacking. Someone reached out to me and said, hey, I listen to this every day during my morning run. Appreciate that. That's awesome. But what you do after the 31-day challenge is what matters, and how you continue the habits. So today I want to talk about franchises. I want to talk about some things that I look at through a business lens and how I can apply those to my business. First of all, I love franchises, man. I think there's something amazing about a franchise. And when I'm inside of a franchise that's clicking on all cylinders, I stop and appreciate it, man, because I'm like, man, the CEO isn't here. The president isn't here. They're somewhere in some remote corporate office giving instructions to this team, and the team is following through with just a certain level of efficiency that makes me feel like they are the owners of the business. And isn't that amazing? Like, I don't know. I think that's one of the coolest aspects of our economy, is how a business can operate so well without the owner being there. And if it can be done at such a large scale, it can certainly be done in your business. So one of my favorite restaurants is Fresh Kitchen. We love it. I mean, one of the things that we love most about it is that they don't use seed oils. I never feel bloated or, gross after eating their food. It's good for the kids, and it's something that we seek out whenever we're traveling. Like, hey, is there a Fresh Kitchen nearby? And because of that, I've probably visited 6 different Fresh Kitchen locations. And every single time I get the same exact meal. I get what they call the 6 bowl with double barbecue chicken, white rice, green beans, broccoli, sometimes sweet potatoes if I'm feeling it. And I always get the coconut sriracha sauce. And then my absolute favorite is they have this, I think it's like a dragon fruit lemonade. It's just delicious, right? And one of the things about this is it doesn't matter which one I go to, it all tastes exactly the same. And that is what I like the most about it. So one of the reasons we seek out Fresh Kitchen is we know that there's going to be a certain level of consistency there. And even when my wife gets the steak, it's the same steak. We just know. And that's one of their superpowers, is it takes away the guesswork. We've eaten there so much and have never gotten sick after. So generally speaking, we know we're not going to get sick if we eat this food. And it has happened where we've taken a gamble and we've went with someone else because we wanted to try something new. And guess what? Got the belly aches, right? You never know. Okay. You never know what the standard is of some of these places you go out to eat. So for me and my family, we want consistency. There's a trust that's been built for what is to be years now of us going there. We know what we want. We have the expectation, and we know that what we're going to get is going to be exactly what we think we're going to get. And this is a powerful economic principle. And for this company to do this at scale is extremely impressive. Now, there's another restaurant that I frequent, or not so much anymore actually, which is called Cava. And Cava has a very similar concept, but there's 2 Cavas close to where I am, and whenever I'm in each city, I've tried both. There was one that recently just opened up. Now, for me, these 2 experiences are starkly different, and here's a good example. The one that I used to go to, has been around for like 2 or 3 years. And here's an interesting thing that I saw in the individuals that were preparing the meal. So if you've ever been to Cava, there's all these different types of bowls. And whenever you tell them which bowl they want, they immediately start putting all the ingredients in. So I forget the name of the bowl. I think it's called like a chicken harissa or something like that. So if you do that, then the person behind actually just starts putting all the ingredients of that bowl. And what's impressive about location number 1 is that no one on the team uses a cheat sheet to identify which ingredients go in that specific bowl. So I always thought that's like, wow, they've done this so many times, so many repetitions, right? Well, when you go to the other location, every single time this team has to read what's in the bowl. And early on, I used to go to this probably like once a week. So I would pick up on this, like, no one's improving here. Like, in other words, like, it's the same like 6 bowls. Like, they have to read what's in the bowl. They grab the little card, they read what's in it, and they put each ingredient in the bowl. So right off the bat, there's a major inconsistency in this place of how one location operates in comparison to the other. And then the taste is completely different, right? And again, like, part of me is, some people don't care, but for me, I'm like, okay, I look at everything from a business standpoint. I think, okay, there's an inconsistency here in the way this one operates compared to the other one. That means that there's a fundamental flaw going on. And I don't know what that is. And it's not dramatic, but it is important to notice things like that because you want to apply that to your business. And one of the things I love about well-operating franchises is they figured out how to keep the standard at scale. And one thing that's really interesting about Fresh Kitchen in comparison to Cava is Fresh Kitchen's options are so limited in comparison. So with Cava, there's way more options. When you have way more options, there's way more opportunities to make mistakes. When you have less options, that means that you can keep refining, getting really good at doing one thing really, really well. So they only have 3 types of bowls with X amount of ingredients. And I guarantee you, if you compare the variations between Fresh Kitchen and Cava and all the different types of bowls that you can create, I would imagine that Fresh Kitchen is probably about half of the variations. And that's what I love about Fresh Kitchen, is because it's very simple to order and they don't mess up because they only do a certain amount of things. If I went into Fresh Kitchen and asked for a fried egg on top of my bowl, they would say no. And the reason they would say that is because they are married to their system. They do not compromise. So I want you to compare these 2 examples to your business, okay? And I want you to tell me, well, I guess you can't really tell me, but I want you to think about it from the perspective of, how difficult is it for me to create consistency, not only in the fulfillment, but in the experience? And you might be thinking, well, Tanner, I'm not a franchise. Well, if you have multiple crews running and you have customers out there, how starkly different if your 2 customers talk to each other So let's say you have 2 jobs going on with 2 crews, and those 2 customers are out and about and they meet each other at Walmart and they bump into each other and they say, hey, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to bump into you. Hey, how are you? Good. What you doing? Oh, I'm just here, just shopping. I got some painters at my house. And the other one says, oh, me too. You have painters at your house? Yeah, I have painters at my house. They're painting my house. Oh, wow. What company did you go with? Premium Painting. And what about you? Me too. Premium Painting. What? Oh, how are they doing? Oh, it's been a nightmare. They showed up late. They didn't know what they were doing. The crew leader keeps taking breaks and going to his car. They started in one room, stopped, and then went into the other room. They almost let my cat out. It's been a miserable experience, actually, and I'm this close to calling the owner and telling him about how poor things have been going. I bet you're going through the same thing, huh? No, my crew was on time. They were incredibly efficient. They walked me through the project. They have been so quiet and courteous. They even started in my master bedroom. They're actually doing the entire master bedroom first, so we have a place to sleep tonight. Really? So tell me how that conversation will go in your business. And for me, what we need to do is we need to create a baseline system for every scenario and enforce the system, because we don't want our experiences from one house to the other, because the crew is different, to be different. We want consistency. I had a customer reach out to me the other day, and she wanted us to come back and paint her new house. We painted for, I think, like 2 years ago. And she made it a point in her email to me to give her the same crew that she had before. And she's saying that because she probably fears that if she gets another crew, she's going to have a starkly different experience. And I reassured her that she wouldn't, and to trust me that our system is good no matter who the crew leader is. And I make it a point to ensure that. And, I've been guilty of letting a crew deviate from our system simply because they were fast and experienced. And that bit me in the butt, because ultimately you find that those types of crews cut corners, and there's a system for a reason. One of the things we do in my painting business is everyone has to tape lines. I don't care if you are a descendant of Picasso himself. You are putting a piece of tape on baseboards and door frames. You are caulking that piece of tape. You are painting over it, and you are pulling it off. I don't care who you are. And I've gotten so much pushback from painters over the years, that I've even had to fire people because they would not do this. And for me, it's like, I don't care. Like, Fresh Kitchen doesn't need, Gordon Ramsay to make a good steak. They need someone that understands the principles of cooking, that can look at a cookbook and can follow instructions to produce the systematic result. Okay? That's all they need. That's all I want, because one of 2 things happen. Number 1, you can't scale skill. And number 2, my hiring pool becomes great, because now I'm not looking for someone with 20 or 30 years of experience. I'm looking for someone that shows up, willing to learn, and is coachable and can follow our rules and system. And what you need to do is you need to make sure that your crew leaders are bought into this idea, because we want one thing as a business more than anything, and that is consistency. So with that said, that is my message for you today, is to audit your business and determine how consistent the outputs are. And if the outputs are inconsistent, then we need to figure out why. You need to be the owner of that Cava restaurant. You need to go in and say, okay, why is one crew different than the other crew? And do I care enough to change it? And if the answer to that question is no, then I can't help you. But you should be pursuing consistency in every element of your business. And we need to rely on the system. The system will set us free. So that's my message for you today. Day 28, 31 days of value. We're coming around the corner. We got a big week coming up. This is the week, okay? 3 more days. I hope that you have created some change in your business. I hope that you've built a habit of consistency. I encourage you to keep chipping away at this. Listen to the 31 days of value again. If you didn't take as much action as you wanted to, use this movement here as an anchor to propel you forward. God bless you. God bless your journey. Create consistency.